Alrighty. Hey guys, this is I'm Clayton Hopkins. I appreciate y'all coming out to this meeting. I'm gonna introduce y'all Pygame, a Python module, in this presentation today. So as you heard, I'm Clayton Hopkins. I'm an officer of ACM. I'm the secretary, and are you excited to learn about Pygame and what it might be, what you might get? Yeah, excitement. Woo. Yeah. So, first things first, what we're going to go over what is Pygame, then we're going to talk about kind of the background to get some purpose of why Pygame came to be, and then there's a little thing in there to explain a common topic we'll go over throughout those first two slides. And then of course we'll go over the functionality, why would we use Pygame and what's the importance of it, why would you use that, why Pygame, and then I'll show you some cool things that people have done in Pygame and maybe explain a little bit of how a basic structure of a Pygame file might look like. And then, of course, our ACM info at the end. All right, so first off, what is Pygame? Pygame is just a collection of Python modules. Everybody knows what Python is, right? Does anybody not know what Python is? You don't know what Python is? Well, get out of here, sir. You're not welcome here. All right. So Python. So Pygame is a collection of Python modules to allow cross-platform access to your system's multimedia hardware components like your audio, your video, your mouse, and your keyboard. Cross-platform just means, it means cross-platform, okay? You can use it in Python, you can use it on Linux, you can use it on Windows, you can use it on all these multiple platforms. And it accesses your system's multimedia hardware, which, like your keyboard. So if you want to, be able to read what your keyboard is doing, like a keylogger, if you ever heard of keylogging, you'll be able to, use it to tell what key you're pressing at that moment. So that's what Pygame is, and as you see up there, I say it's a wrapper for SDL library. I'll tell you in a little bit what SDL is, but that's an important thing to note. So let's go into the history of Pygame so we can understand a little bit more of what it is and why it came to be. So it started in October of 2000. That's when the first development started. And the person who started it was Pete Shiners, who was a C programmer for many years. And the reason why this is important because SDL, which is, Pygame is a wrapper of SDL. It's a C library, so it's not Python initially. And so since Pete Shiners was a C programmer, he first came across SDL in the C programming language, and then around the same time stumbled across Python, and that's when he came up with the idea with there's no SDL version in Python, so he can't do all the functionality he would need in Python that he can get in C. So that was the reasoning for making Pygame, so he could convert SDL to Python. Of course, at the time, if you see that PySDL is up there, PySDL is just another version somebody was trying to make, and they failed trying to convert SDL over to Python. And that was some more reasoning for why Pete started his journey. And as you see, it first got released, so it was successful on April 2001. And today, version 2.5.2 is out as of September. So it's made a lot of long strides and has a lot more functionality than it did when it first started. All right, so I've been talking about SDL a lot, and SDL, it's basically the same thing. It's a cross-platform, it's a library of cross-platform modules to access your system's media hardware. The only reason why this is important because this came first and it was developed in C, and Pygame is basically just a thin little layer of code that refers to C code. So basically, you're running C code, but in Python. And so it'll be pretty fast because C is the way C is implemented, it's usually a lot faster since it's lower level to the hardware. So that's a benefit of it being a C program. And of course, it's the predecessor to Pygame because it came before Pygame. So why would you use Pygame? Well, most people usually use it for making 2D games, video games, to spark interest in their game development. Or if you'll search the web, you'll see some people are using it for crazy projects like trying to make a GUI system for their centerpiece of their vehicle. So like they'll have it where instead of using the radio, they set up some crazy Pygame module where they basically have their own radio that they coded themselves, and they kind of do that to add their own functionality and try to like do something interesting that way. Though that's pretty crazy, and you might break your car if you do that, so I wouldn't recommend it. But these are some other ideas that I've thrown up there that you might want to do. Like many people have used it for graphical user interfaces, GUIs, in their 132 projects, or just to collect information from your laptop. And some people make video games and throw it up on the web browser. If you don't know that Pygame, recently somebody has made it accessible to make Pygame and code Pygame on a website in HTML. So you can just throw it up there in your HTML file and you'll have a game right there on the browser, instead of having a Python module on your local desktop. And do y'all have any questions about what y'all might want to use it for? Yeah?
What is Threats on Fire?
Threats on Fire, that's a famous, it's one of the most popular examples of what people have made with Pygame. I can show y'all a picture of what it looks like real quick. It's basically Guitar Hero. Have you ever seen Guitar Hero? It's basically just Guitar Hero, but made with Pygame. You see this? I thought that was crazy. And of course you could download this. The website it took you to, I was too scared to download Threats on Fire because it looked like it could be sketchy, but you know, to each their own. You probably won't get any viruses, maybe. But yeah, they've made many games. I'm going to show you in a second with all these demos that I've got lined up, all the cool games that people have made. It's mostly common games, like if you ever heard of Snake, or what was yours, Mason? Was it Plop? Plob? Ploob? Pong. Pong, you know where the ball goes over there and over there? It's mainly low-level games like that, because whenever you start getting crazy like Assassin's Creed or Black Ops, it takes a lot of extra like functionality. Like they have graphics in those games, not graphics, gravity and other stuff like that. So you need like a real gaming engine like Unity or what is that other one? Unreal, because they have those kind of built into their game engine to provide that gravity functionality and stuff like that. But Pygame doesn't have any of that. It's just kind of low level, so it'll help you draw images and throw it up on the screen and affect your multimedia hardware, like your computer and stuff. So let me show you a demo. These were some demos made, like I was talking about, through the browser that people were talking about earlier. Let me see. Is it? What is what?
Penguins can't fly.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll get to that one in just a second. I think this is the Ploob one that we were talking about earlier. Pong. Yeah. See? And now you can watch me play Pong.
That's also not Pong.
Yeah. This isn't Pong?
No, that's Pong.
Oh.
Pong is literally just like...
Pong is a two-player game.
Yeah, it's like table tennis.
Well, I'm playing with myself. That's two-player right there. What'd you say?
You need two people. You need to like
Oh, that's what Pong is. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, this isn't Pong. This is Ploob right here. It's a completely different game. And yeah, if this interests you, like, look how cool this is. All these game things. And it might look pretty basic, but really, there's quite a bit going on underneath the hood. It's not too crazy, so it's like a perfect intermediate to beginner level project to spark your interest. And I think you see this, you can just pull this up on the web. Anybody that wants to look at your stuff would probably love to like be able to use it like this. Like, you create a low level game and prove that you actually know Python instead of just saying I know Python. I think that would be invaluable to any experience. Let me see. You said penguins can't fly. Yeah, this one's pretty cool. I got the high score earlier. Oh. Another cool thing about Pygame, they've got audio. Like I said, multimedia hardware. And so, don't hit the sharks. That's what that is. All right. Oh, okay. Last one on this page, unless y'all want to see another one. I thought this one was really cool. 2D? I know it says 3D, but I mean,
That is definitely
this is 3D? You think this is 3D? Well, how do I forgot what button you press. This is basically Foursquare. Well, I know it's tic-tac-toe, but oh, that's right. There you go. Okay, and they have a. Dang it.
Okay, then that means everything is
Pick. Look at this. He doesn't even know. I'm about to beat him. So the yellow squares, those are that's the computer just randomly picking, and I'm the red squares, of course. And it might look confusing because it is confusing, but it's just a cube and you play tic-tac-toe. There's not really any crazy rules. I am playing on easy difficulty though.
4x4.
I won. Look at that. You see that, guys? This is why I'm presenting on Pygame. Right. Thank you. Just a little expertise to show you how cool I am. And of course, there's different modes, but I'm too good in all of these. I don't want to show off too much. So, well, those are some of the so cool games that excite your interest in any. Some of the cool games that you can play.
Can you make the 3D?
Can I make the 3D tic-tac-toe? It'd be too easy. Here, actually, I could. There's this thing called GitHub. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
All of those things were helpful. So.
It's a pretty easy way to make code. I wouldn't recommend doing this on it depends. You probably want to make it yourselves.
You mentioned it
But-
Mason mentioned it in his meeting on good coding practices, but you should really learn GitHub like as soon as possible. It's pretty important.
Yeah, GitHub is really cool, guys. If y'all haven't learned GitHub, you can come talk to us and we can tell you about it. But y'all should really learn that. It's a really nice way to share code. All right, and then I've got some. I thought I would go over some of the basics of a Pygame module. So, I'll zoom in a little bit. All right.
All right, perfect.
Okay. So this is a basic Pygame. I've got a basic Python file right here that I've just created. I've called it Bouncing Ball, and it is strictly used just for to demonstrate a Pygame thing. You can find this this code easily on their tutorial. Pygame has many tutorials describing how to get involved in it and understand all the things that Pygame has to offer. And this is on their documentation page here. I can show it real quick. Pygame.org. On their documentation page, you can find they've got quick starts. You can find all this code over there. Yeah, this is their documentation page. So, of course, with every module, you want to import Pygame. That's the first step. This is importing systems is usually accompanied by it because you need some of the functionality from system to usually finish off your Pygame modules, but it's not required. Anyways, second most important thing after importing Pygame is pygame.init. This is a special function that initializes all the Pygame modules. There's a lot of stuff going underneath the hood right here, and it basically just ensures all the multimedia hardware that's accessing really works. There's a lot of stuff. I don't even know everything that's going on underneath it, but that's an important step. You always got to do that or it's not going to work. All right. Next here, you don't have to worry about this. This is just predefining some stuff right here. Next thing right here, usually Pygame, if you remember our demos, there was a screen, a graphical screen where there was like the game was actually on. That's the next most important thing usually for most Pygame files. Whenever you're creating a game or any application, you usually use a screen. This right here is calling the display a set mode function of Pygame, and all that does is it's taking in a pixel size, 700 pixels by 400 pixels. It's just taking in some requirements to determine the size of the thing. Here, let me show you real quick, because this might all be confusing. So whenever it first starts up, you'll see it creates a window at a certain size and stuff like that. And so if I modify this, you can make it smaller or larger. And see, now the screen is a lot smaller. Yeah. All right. So all that is just affecting your screen size, your graphical interface size. And there's other things you can do too, like it has parameters for full screen. I don't know it off the top of my head, but you can make it full screen and stuff like that. Okay, next thing, right here, this right here. If you want any images in your thing, like if you saw the bouncing ball, you would use your image.load thing to load it in. And this is a local reference right here to it. It's in the same thing, so it's just calling that. And then what it's doing is that now you got the image, it's got to determine the exact pixels, the exact size that it's going to take up on the screen, and that's what this is kind of doing right here. It's determining where to put it on the screen. And then if you don't know anything about games, for most games, you'll describe all of your components for the game, and then you'll have this event loop, which is what this is. This is where the game is going to kind of take place, and what's going to happen, what it's basically doing is, and this might be what you do for most Pygame things. It basically takes in user input from whatever you grab it from, takes in user input, checks it, the user input to decide what to do, and then it just displays an image or does whatever you want it to do based off the input. That's all this is doing right here. So this is getting user input, checking user input, and then doing something with the user input, or because of the user input. That's all it is. That's the basics of a game, and that's all this is. So right here we've got, if you hit the quit button, exit out of the program, and what this event right here is Pygame collects all the, this is how Pygame collects all the user input that it might get from your multimedia hardware. And so we're iterating through each thing that it logged, each user input that it logged. And throughout each one, if we find one that says the user clicked on the exit button to exit, then we'll exit the program right here. If not, then they didn't do anything, and we're going to do what we're doing. On this one, obviously, we're bouncing balls around, or a ball around. So we're going to get our rect, if you remember the rect right here, the actual location on the screen, and we're going we're going to move it because that's what we're doing. We're bouncing it. So we move it. Right here we got speed. We move it 4x4 pixels, so it's going to move. It's just going to move 4x4 pixels and wherever it starts. Since we didn't give rect any parameters, I'm assuming it starts at 0, 0 onto the screen. So it'll probably start at the bottom left or something like that. And then right here, what are you saying?
Things can start at the top left. Usually
Top right,
stuff like
top left? Okay.
Usually it's stuff like this. 0 is at the top, 0, 0 is the top left corner.
Top left. And then basically, these right here are just making sure it doesn't bounce outside of the screen, I think. And if so, then go the opposite direction, as you see here. And then all this does is this is filling in the background of the screen instead of having it whatever it was at its basic. So this is just just for aesthetics. And then this right here, blitting, is where you actually put whatever object, whatever rectangle up on the screen. So this is putting our ball, our picture, on the actual location on the screen that we determined earlier. If you remember, this is the picture, this is the actual location. And then flip is basically just updating it. There's other functions to update stuff and that might be more beneficial, but for this thing, this basic update function is enough. So that's the basics of it. So just initialize it, define your parameters, and then of course if you're building a game, then get user input, see what you want to do, and just put it up on the screen. So basically, if you wanted to put any graphical thing on the screen, that's what this would be good for. So let me all right, and if you don't remember, this is what we got. So there's the ball bouncing around. I don't know where it started, if y'all remember. Yeah, it started top left like Connor said earlier. Mess around with it, make it slower. Do y'all have any questions about the basics of a Pygame function that I might be able to help y'all with? Anything y'all don't understand?
Can you make the ball go like perfectly in the corner?
Perfectly in the corner. Let me see. Gangster like that. That's my coding knowledge for you guys right there. There you go. Look at that serotonins. Is that what you cool cats call it nowadays? Look at those serotonins go. That was, I'm sorry.
Dopamine?
Dopamine.
Serotonin works.
Yeah.
They go for it.
I just, all right. So we got a little bit off topic there. I'm going to show y'all one more thing at the end of this, but for our presentation, I'm going to move on. And all there really is left is ACM information. If y'all don't know, we have an upcoming meeting November 8th. We'll be going over task automation in Python. Our boy Connor over there got us for that one. If you're interested, we'll update you guys in the future about when and where that will be. And if you haven't already, you can join our Discord. Do y'all have any questions? No? Do y'all feel like Pygame expert? Do y'all feel like y'all know at least the gist of Pygame and are interested in it?
Yep.
Because I tell you, researching this, I was getting really interested. I was like, all those Pygame projects that I dropped, I'm going to get back to them. Because it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun making games. Of course, you know, you might not be going into game development, but there's other stuff you can do with it too. That's pretty much it for my presentation. I thank you guys for coming out tonight. Yeah.